Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval here, welcome back to another video, and it's always a lovely time whenever people get themselves a beta club from these special offers and realize that you can't just stick it on any character in the game, throw them in a fight, and they do 2 billion damage. So in this video I'm gonna try to explain to you how it works and show you some practical examples of how to make use of this artifact, because it's one of the strongest, if not the strongest artifact in the game. So first of all, a brief summary of what it does. It applies dot with 500% damage for 15 seconds on swipe attack. By swipe attack, they mean every single swipe attack. Swipe right, swipe up, swipe down. It's preferable to never do swipe down and to try to do swipe up attacks, like the jump attacks, how we call them, because they are going to be the highest damage, but swipe rights are going to be fine too. Just the jump attack simply has the highest base value. And because it's triggered on swipes, it's going to be such a good artifact, because this dot value is going to get some crazy benefits from a lot of things, from damage buff, from crit damage, from lethal damage, because since this depends on the damage you're gonna do on your basic hit that activates it, first of all, it's gonna vary a lot, because that hit that you do might not hit a crit, might not hit a lethal and all that stuff, but since it's based on how much damage it deals, it means it's already getting buffed once from all the damage modifiers you have. And then the dot value itself will also get modified a second time, but by the crit damage you have, by the lethal damage you have, and by all the damage buffs and damage against target that you might be able to put on the enemy. So that's why this is such a strong artifact. Now let's get on to a more practical how to use type of deal. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the most basic combination. This combination is not the most relevant one, but it's easy to explain because you can basically do the same thing with Twin Blade nowadays. But we got Raven over here, who's gonna do the following things. She's gonna apply damage against target with her special one. Now, we need, think about it as a, I don't know if you guys saw Transformers, but whenever, or Power Rangers, but whenever they would kind of assemble to construct a bigger robots or that kind of deal, we need to assemble a few pieces here. Or if you are a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, we're assembling the pieces of Exodia. This is one piece. It doesn't have to be Raven. You have kind of other options, but you need to have as many damage type effects from multiple parts, and you need them to be kind of different from each other for the most part, because if you just put all the damage in all the damage buff in the world on a character, it's not going to be good enough. But let's say this is one part of it. Now if I combine just Raven with a random character in my roster that doesn't have any damage modifiers, let's say I combine it with Amazonian Wonder Woman. Let's say I have her build. Theoretically, even with a perfect build, that's not gonna do 2 billion damage. You need to look for characters that are gonna have a second damage buff to bring to the table, and King is a very good example, because he's gonna have the special one over here, which is gonna give you a damage buff as you do specials, and that damage buff combined with the Raven damage buff is simply gonna result in a very high dot value. And I'm not going to give an example to this, but I'm going to give an example of how exactly to do 2 billion damage with every character in the game, because you kind of can, but you can do it only once a day. So again, we have Raven being something that buffs the beta club, right? And then we need to do a second type of buff, and we're going to cheat a bit, because we're going to put another support character in there that also gives us a damage buff, which is Zatanna. Zatanna is also going to give me a damage buff with this passive. We're gonna get the damage buff from there, and you see that King was already getting this type of buff, so we're artificially transforming a random character in a roster into Kinflan Sakuman, basically. Now let's pick a character. It doesn't matter what character it is, it only matters to be built towards dealing damage, because we need to have a decent damage dealing build. Like we need to have some crit damage in there. Let me think. Is this guy built properly? He's fine. Okay, let's go with Multiverse Captain Cold. Like, Multiverse Captain Cold does have some abilities and some passives. I did test him for other purposes, but I'm literally not gonna do anything with this man but jump attack. Let's get into a Soul Raid fight. Okay, so I actually changed my mind. We're not even using the Multiverse Mister Captain Cold because he was class ascended, so he was getting some crit damage from that class ascension. This man is not class ascended. He's only got this passive, which gives him a bit of crit chance. And yeah, his build is not even that great. The crit damage over there that you see is a bug that came with the new updates. But yeah, we're gonna have Beta Club on him. We're gonna have Raven. And we're gonna have Zatanna. And it should be good enough to one-shot any fight in the game. I mean, any fight that is not dot immune or dot resistance or any other things that you need to consider, obviously. Okay, first I want to get the Zatanna damage buff. Also could use Puppet here. Usually use Zatanna with Puppet. Like, Zatanna is another character that you can use to buff some certain characters that are gonna be good enough just with Zatanna to deal 2 billion damage with Beta Club. And one example of that comes to mind is Mr. Freeze. But yeah, let's... I don't know why the cat is going crazy. I'm sorry about that. Let's get his Zatanna damage buff. Okay. Free special 1 there. Okay, now let's look at how much Batman does with the Beta Club. That's 600k. That's still a lot more than he would have done without the Zatanna damage buff, but that's still a very low value. A bit of a special delay there, but thankfully she didn't block. And as soon as I use some Raven specials, the damage is gonna skyrocket. Bro, chill, calm down. Also, I probably should have tried to do Darkness first. Because now I don't see how much until my Darkness expires because of these Zatanna debuffs. Okay, let's check on Batman. He's now dealing 20 mil damage. I mean, I might actually not one-shot this. Because I am far from having maxed out passive stats in the soul rates. But this definitely has the possibility of one-shotting. And what we're doing now is we're kind of artificially buffing Batman. He's not supposed to deal this much damage, and he doesn't have anything recommending him as a Beta Club damage dealer. But in theory, you could do this on every single character with Zatanna, Raven. Tech characters are almost to the point, but you need them to be very good builds. But tech characters are close to the point because of the crit damage buff they get already from the tech passive, where they might be able to do 2 billion damage with just Raven. But yeah, we're gonna afterwards explore some options outside of Raven, so don't worry about it. But yeah, I'm gonna do here 2 billion damage even without being even close to maxed out passive stats. Again, trying to do jump attacks, because those, generally speaking, have higher values. Oh, probably should have done some swipe attacks to show kind of the difference. But yeah, let's move on to another strategy that you can do. Okay, so let's see what do we have here. First up, we have Batman Ninja Batman, who's a tech character. So his class passive is gonna give me crit damage, so that's already one way of getting a lot of benefit for the Beta Club. Then we have Robin here, who's a Batman Ninja character that gives me the Batman Ninja Lethality, which is going to give me a lot of lethal damage for my boy Batman. But that still would probably not be enough. We need something else. We need Joker. Now we take a look at Joker here, and he doesn't really have anything that he gives me. But he's got a fast third special, and that means he can spam that third special to use Puppet. And this is how you do a lot of teams with Beta Club, and this is probably the team that's going to be the easiest to put together because they all got arena seasons. You don't need the gears for Robin. The gears for the rest of them, you get them from the arena store. So we got the Puppet here, which we're going to use because one of the debuffs that it puts on the enemy is increased incoming damage, and that just goes crazy with the Beta Club, and it's kind of a weaker version of what Raven gives you to an extent. So let's get this going and let's try this out. And again, you don't have to use those themes specifically. And I'm not gonna go ahead and list every single character in the game that works and doesn't work with Beta Club, because there's characters that kind of work with Beta Club, there's characters that are just terrible with Beta Club. There's also kind of something fun and entertaining, in my opinion, to it. Trying some team combinations and discovering yourself what works. I'm just trying to give you examples of how it works, so you can make your own decisions in regards to that. It's gonna be very easy to activate Puppet if you have a Batman Ninja. If you have a Beta Club character. That's another very good thing about the combination of Beta Club plus Puppet. It's also gonna... the Beta Club is also gonna help Puppet, not only the other way around. We're just gonna spam specials as much as possible. You don't need to constantly keep in the fight the character that has the Beta Club, and that's what's great about it, because it's gonna be a jump attack that's gonna constantly deal damage for a very long period of time. Look, 64 mil out of that. Now I did a swipe, that did a lot less damage, that's 46. And we got lucky on both hits and probably got the peak value we can get. Your values are gonna fluctuate depending on if you're gonna hit a lethal or not on that jump attack, if you're gonna hit a crit or not. Okay, that was not a lethal. That's again a low value. I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm just gonna keep jumping until... there we go. We see a 64 mil value. And it doesn't have to be this number specifically, obviously, but you need to eventually be aware of how much your characters are expected to do. And try to not settle for less than that. Okay, that's fine. Thanks, super move. There we go. Now let's move on into kind of the last example I want to give. Okay, so the last example is again going to be a combination of Beta Club on Manta here, for example. We're going to have Brainiac here with Puppet. And Brainiac is going to give me a lot of lethal damage from here. And from the special one. And we're gonna also have some crit damage from Classic Wonderment, so let's get this going. I'm not sure this one specifically is strong enough to do 2 billion damage with Beta Club. Probably not, but it's okay. You don't have to one-shot everything. It's still a strong artifact if you don't one-shot something. And boy, it's gonna be crazy easy to activate Infinite Power on my boy Brainiac. Guess we're gonna get... like 2 negative effects from Beta Club, 2 negative effects from the Manta passive, and then we just get 1 from Puppet. And usually I used to do this with Batman Ninja Grodd and Robin in the team, and Grodd being the damage dealer, and using Brainiac just like this as a support, but I no longer need to do that, because now we have Batman Ninja Batman that can do that without the Brainiac support, and that kind of frees Brainiac up. Okay. We got 10 lethal stacks, let's get Manta in there. As well super move. Manta's got a damage buff that he gets for constantly hitting the enemy, so with Manta specifically, you need to be careful to keep that up. Which I failed here. Fine. I think we can only do 2 special 2s in between Manta taggins. Hopefully we can keep up the blind just by doing that much. No, we don't have the blind up now. That's bad. Did we lose the Manta damage? Yeah, we did. I mean, this is not the best example, but it's fine. I'm not even playing it the best because I don't usually play this team specifically. I'm just trying to get to max Manta damage, at least. And yeah, if I also attack Brainiac as soon as possible, looks like we might be able to constantly keep blind up. Also, in this type of gameplay, I'm not really able to do jump attacks. Okay, I think we got it. Yeah, I don't think I would have one-shot this. Nah, the jump attacks failed here. They failed me so hard. Bro, stop blocking so much. Yeah, this did not go too well. But you get the idea. There's a lot of legendary characters that can kinda do this or get close to doing this. Blue Beetle is another example. But yeah, I hope that helped you out understand better how Beta Club works, and good luck finding some team combinations of your own. Also, if you have the... there's an artifact in like the Scorpion Soul raids. I don't remember exactly the name, I have a brain damage moment. But if you have that artifact, that amulet, it's an amulet. I don't know exactly what's called, but it's basically giving you the Raven passive. If you have that in Beta Club, then you have like 20 teams that can do 2 billion damage. But all that being said, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!